Hey everyone, how you're doing? It's Kieran here at Raw Review and welcome to the best movies of 2023. Here we will discover and reflect on the year's best films that have been championed by myself, critics and of course you, the community. 2023 may be over, but it was a year packed with incredible movies. The last 12 months have seen spectacular cinematography unfold across our screens, with soul-searching adventures, searing historical adaptations, side-splitting comedies, nerve-shredding horror films, tearful farewells and joyous gatherings. Looking back on the best films of 2023 offers another reminder of the breathtaking vision of the current cinematic landscape. An array of new voices, legendary names and visionary artists working at the top of their game, delivering stories and characters that transported us to all new worlds. To rank these films appropriately, I will be placing these films into appropriate categories. So let's start with action. 2023 we have had the return of Indiana Jones, Jason Statham taking on the Megalodon again, and of course a new Expendables team. But sadly none of these films blew up the way that we hoped. In terms of action, John Wick Chapter 4 is the film that comes to mind, because it is relentlessly violent. We see him take on a countless number of assassins and it does not stop from start to finish. The film has everything you could possibly ask for: gunfights, sword fights, hand-to-hand combat, car chases and even camel chases. Chapter 4 even jumps from country to country, bringing back old friends and foes, with inventive set pieces including an aerial view of a brawl smashing through a number of rooms and a breathtaking fight amongst speeding cars around the Arc de Triomphe, which left us wondering how the hell did they pull that off? But while I'm talking about jaw-dropping stunts, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning also has to be mentioned. Although the film struggles to slightly differentiate itself from previous installments, there is a clear mastery of work here that does have to be admired. From the exciting opening sequence to the high-tech airport cat and mouse game and the train set demolishing finale, it's clear that Dead Reckoning is up there as one of the best films of the year. Moving on to our second category, animation. 2023 without a doubt spoiled us with amazing animated films. Studios like DreamWorks, Universal and Sony have had a fairly decent year when it's come to animation, whereas Disney have really struggled to catch the essence of imagination. But the studio that really stuck out for me was Paramount. They started off the year by releasing Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves in March and it blew up big time. Not only was the film a massive financial success, but it also boosted sales of the game, with an amazing cast from Hugh Grant's scheming villain to Reggie-Jean Page's absurdly literal paladin. Honor Amongst Thieves is populated by an almost obscenely likeable clutch of cutthroats and rogues. Fast forward to June when Paramount released Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Yes, I'm well aware that this film didn't do as well as the past installments, but this film did make over $435 million at the box office. And it genuinely felt like they were getting the franchise back on track and has restored some faith for the future. A month later, TMNT Mutant Mayhem dropped and gave us, in my opinion, the best rendition of TMNT to date. With big names like Jackie Chan, Ice Cube and Seth Rogen, it was destined to be a smash hit. One of the best parts about this film is that child actors voiced the Turtles and it's the first time it's ever been done. The film itself has a very unique style and vibe and I enjoyed it way more than any other animated film this year. I know a lot of people will say that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the best animated film this year, but I feel like that's due to it being a more liked character, plus the fan justice, the cameos and the anticipation of it being a sequel. But me personally, I enjoyed Mutant Mayhem way more. And to finish off the year for Paramount was Paw Patrol: The Mighty Movie, which was already going to be a smash hit with the younger audience. The film gave us smooth, vibrant animation with a fun, family-friendly storyline for everyone to enjoy. What's even more impressive about this film, they only had a $30 million budget. And by today's standards, that's very low. And for our next category, we have comedy. 2023 gave us some great comedies. Woody Harrelson back at his basketball antics and Champions, a Haunted Mansion remake, and even a cocaine-fueled bear. But of course the biggest comedy, or even the biggest talking point of the year, was Barbie. Sublime! What better way to describe Greta Gerwig's Barbie movie in just one word? Packed with pure invention, comedy, drama, dancing and tons of heart, this is not the film based on the iconic doll that we were expecting, but one that absolutely delivered as one half of the summer's oddest double bill. Margot Robbie simply is stereotypical Barbie, a perfect feminine creation enjoying her life in her magical Barbie land. That is until the anxiety and fear from the woman playing with her in real life starts to seep in and turns her Barbie world upside down. Robbie is exceptional, Ryan Gosling is having perhaps the most fun anyone has ever had on screen, and the whole cast of Barbie and Kens commit entirely to the heightened hilarious world. And underneath that pink plastic exterior lie genuinely moving musings of being a woman, a mother, a partner and a human. And of course we can't say comedy without putting romantic in front of it. This category of film is very hard to get right because not only do the actors need to have romantic chemistry, but they also need to have comedy chemistry as well. Production teams need to get all the settings, music and editing to perfection to make the audience fall in love with what we see on screen. We have had some mid-range films like Shotgun Wedding starring Jennifer Lopez and Ghosted starring Chris Evans and Ana de Armas. Now these films do have some great aspects like the action, cinematography and soundtracks, but they lacked that on-screen chemistry. Whereas films like Magic Mike 3 lacked almost everything, even an inspired storyline. But some films have done exceptionally well, like No Hard Feelings starring Jennifer Lawrence. It's funny and pretty smart in what it ultimately has to say about sex and intimacy. And it still follows a lot of romantic comedy beats you expect from a movie like this. So as long as you're happy with an unconventional happy ever after, this film should be on your list. But for me, the best romantic comedy of the year has to go to Red, White and Royal Blue. After a minor altercation at a royal wedding between Alex, the son of a US president, and Prince Henry, the younger brother to the heir to the British throne, the pair are ordered to manage the PR disaster by posing as long-term friends, just messing about. But of course, more than friends blossoms between them. The film has all the tropes of the rom-com genre, and its LGBTQ+ identity is sensitively handled. And some of its characters are genuinely charming. If you haven't seen it and are in the mood for a rom-com, I would highly recommend you go check it out on Prime Video. Swiftly moving on to one of my favourite categories, horror. 2023 has delivered some amazing horror films, and although some may have hit better than others, it doesn't mean that they're not entertaining. We had a new installment in the Saw franchise. Saw X decided to take the back to basics approach and going back and focusing on the Jigsaw Killer. We also had Scream 7 or VI, the freshest chapter in the long-running slasher series, with a big surprise with lots of great set pieces, nods to previous installments and wonderful actors. Although it is one of the best installments of the franchise, it still doesn't fit the bill for best horror film of 2023. For me, the one film that really impressed me above all was Talk to Me. With inventive imagery and shocking gore, the twin brothers Danny and Michael Filippo elevate the style that they have developed on their own YouTube channel, Raka Raka. This film had the great benefit of being a fresh, standalone horror film with low expectations. A24 seemed to be that studio that is willing to take risks on new talents. Being actors, directors, or producers, in the past couple of years it's really paid off for them. Because we get so many superhero films in a year, I've decided to give them their own category. Let's be honest, both DC and Marvel have had hits and misses in 2023. Even animated projects from Paramount and Sony are better than everything Warner Bros. And Disney have released. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is the MCU's best release this year. Director James Gunn's conclusion to the Guardians trilogy is a beautiful send-off to the ragtag group of heroes, centering around Rocket Raccoon's emotional backstory when his life is in jeopardy. While the film neatly delivered a satisfying conclusion for each of its characters, it felt incredibly safe. For me, it didn't really take any risks or kill off anyone in the large ensemble when it had the chance. It also could have been done without the mean-spirited Gamora, a character who Gunn considered killing off earlier in the franchise. For DC, it has to be Blue Beetle. It's a heartfelt superhero origin story that embraces Mexican culture and the Latino experience. The movie is about the strength and resilience of family and community, especially in the eyes of corporate greed. Although Blue Beetle is DC's best release this year, it does have its flaws, like George Lopez is overbearing at times. And it also does little to explain the superhero's powers or even the origin of the ancient artifact. The best superhero film is of course the sequel to 2018's Oscar-winning Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse delivers even more impressive visuals than the first film, seamlessly transitioning between art styles as it blends 3D and 2D hand-drawn animation. Each on-screen panel is worth pausing on to fully appreciate its beauty and soak in every single Easter egg. Not only did the movie dive deeper into Gwen Stacy's emotional complex relationship with her police officer father, but the sequel also explored what it means to be Spider-Man. When Miles Morales learns that he was never supposed to gain the powers of the Wallcrawler, blowing a hole in the multiverse, it leads him on a journey to discover his place in the Spider-Verse on his own terms without being placed into a box, and being told who Spider-Man can and cannot be. And moving on to our last but not least category, drama. Let's start off with a couple of shout-outs. Air may not be as good as some of Ben Affleck's directed movies, though it's still one of the year's most fun and entertaining dramas. This movie is built around its script and performances, with Matt Damon and supporting actors Viola Davis, Chris Tucker and Jason Bateman given room to thrive with fast-paced, witty dialogue. Centered around Michael Jordan's industry-changing sneaker deal with Nike, or Nike, Air captures the flight of 80s basketball culture. It's not the most inventive film of the year, but it deserves all the credit for its clever, straightforward screenwriting expertise. One of A24's brilliant releases in 2023 was Past Lives. Past Lives is a story about estranged childhood friends who meet again at multiple points in their lives, reflecting on their time together and apart. The film offers an emotionally cogent exploration of intimacy and the human condition. Past Lives is a brilliant directional debut of Celine Song and is the most poignant and self-reflective romantic dramas of 2023. Martin Scorsese is arguably one of the best directors of all time, and at his age, he's still making amazing films. Killers of the Flower Moon is one of the year's most celebrated movies, with award-worthy dramatic performances from Leonardo DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone, and Robert De Niro. The film deserves praise for its powerful examination of challenging but necessary material, with beautiful painting-like cinematography and a heart-wrenching score and some of the best acting of 2023. But of course, the best drama of 2023 is Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan is one of the most celebrated directors of the 21st century, and Oppenheimer has been dubbed as the crowning achievement of his career. The awe-inspiring epic is about J. Robert Oppenheimer's quest to build the atomic bomb and the ramifications of the world-changing achievement. Cillian Murphy's performance is a tour de force, and he's supported by a brilliant ensemble, including Robert Downey Jr. and Emily Blunt, all for whom will be award frontrunners. Nolan's attention to detail in every aspect of the film creates a visceral and exhilarating experience unlike anything else in 2023. So there we have it, guys, the best films of 2023. Let me know in the comments below, do you agree with my list? If not, what films would you put on yours? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button. And if you haven't done already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I will see you in the next one. But until then, take care.